Welcome friends to another r/am I the jerk video. Would it make me the jerk if I ask for you to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below? That said, our first story of the day is by Disney Trip Grandma. Am I the jerk for demanding my son take his daughter on his family trip to Disneyland? I got pregnant with my son Julius, 28, about a month after my 18th birthday. I tried to do my best for him, and he got into a good engineering school, but at 19, he got his then girlfriend Isa pregnant, and they had Annabella together. I've been the one who's mostly raised her. Isa got deported, but they spend July together and FaceTime every night. Julius got married to his girlfriend Katya after graduation, and they have 2 wonderful boys together. Annabella lives with me, and not with them. The thing is, Julius never spends any time with Annabella. He doesn't even call to say goodnight. But she loves him so much. It's like once a month, he'll show up with a box full of toys, spend a day with her, and then go back to his family. It hurts her so much that he doesn't spend time with her because he's her hero. I'm just grandma. And no, he doesn't act this way because of his wife. Katya would love to have Annabella move in with them. She once brought up the idea, and she went on about all the things they could do together. She would love to be your stepmom, calls her princess, sweetie, and so many nice nicknames. The only reason they haven't is because Julius has said she should stay with me. A few days ago, Julius told me that he and Katya were planning a trip to Disneyland in August. I told him that Annabella would be so excited and he should tell her on her birthday, and he just blankly told me she's not coming and the trip is for his boys. I made it clear to him that he needed to bring her on the trip, and he just called me a jerk, which he's never done before, for trying to control him. I admit that I was a bit controlling in my reaction, but I don't think I went that far. I'm gonna say OP is not the jerk because literally, OP's son more or less dumped their kid on their own mom and then doesn't even take the time to pay them any attention, do anything with them. God forbid they suggest you take your kid with them on a trip to Disneyland. What do you guys think? Is OP a jerk for demanding that this kid goes with Julius? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Our next story is by Husband Troubles 9889. Am I the jerk for inviting my mom to see my week-old son? Hi, I'm male 34. My wife, female 30, recently gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. He's the first kid in many years in my family, and everyone was really excited about his birth, especially my mother. She wanted to be there in the delivery room with us, but my wife said no, so I respected her wishes. I said she can meet him when we get home, and my wife agreed. Well, there were some complications in the birth, and my wife was clearly exhausted. In her exhaustion, she told me that maybe my mother waiting at the house isn't a good idea, and can I ask her to come after a couple of weeks? I was shocked and hurt. My mother loves my wife, and here my wife was trying to intentionally hurt my mother. But seeing her in pain, I couldn't say no and called my mother. She was very upset. Well, the week goes by without any events. I asked my wife again and again when my mom can come, but she told me to wait. Yesterday, my wife went to a doctor's appointment and I was in charge of taking care of my son. Suddenly, I got an idea and called my mother who lives nearby. She came and met my son. The happiness that I saw on her face was amazing. It was an emotional moment for me when she held him for the first time. Well, she was just getting ready to leave, but then my wife arrived. She got very angry very fast. She didn't say anything to my mother, but I could see in her face that there was some rant coming. My mother left and my wife exploded. I've never seen her this angry. She told me if she didn't invite her own mother, then I should have understood that there was a reason. She was especially upset about me doing this behind her back. I said I'm sorry multiple times, but she's still angry. I slept in the guest room yesterday. I don't think I did anything a good son wouldn't do, but I do feel bad about hurting my wife. Am I the jerk? Honestly, I think OP was the jerk the moment they said, my mother loves my wife, and here my wife was trying to intentionally hurt my mother. Your wife just delivered a baby. They're not trying to intentionally hurt anyone. Imagine giving birth, feeling like crap, dealing with the complications of recovering, and being asked, hey, can my mother-in-law come around and spend some time while you're feeling like crap? Honestly, you'd probably want a couple weeks too to just recoup and recover, let alone the first few weeks of taking care of a newborn baby. Our next story is by Throwaway 2003-0420. Am I the jerk for going against my aunt's rules while babysitting my cousins? I, 18-year-old female, have two cousins, 12-year-old male and 5-year-old female, that live with my aunt, 34-year-old female. My aunt is a self-proclaimed hippie. She does not believe in modern medicine, vaccines, and even denied my cousin needed glasses despite his complaints over the years. She, however, does believe that everything we eat should be naturally grown, fat-free, and organic. This will be important later on. Half a year ago, my aunt lost her job due to her refusing to get the vaccine and moved in with us. I was put in charge of taking care of my cousins while she job hunts, which I don't mind doing since they're very well behaved. When I started taking care of them, my aunt sat me down in front of a long list of what they cannot eat, which said no fat, no spices, no sugar, no carbs, no dairy, among many other requests I found ridiculous. I should state this, both of my cousins are skinny to the point some would consider them malnourished, so the fact that they had to diet on top of that was ridiculous. At first I obeyed her rules, they're her kids, not mine after all. But after a while, I started noticing how the diet affected the kids. They never had enough energy to do anything, didn't want to run or play like most kids their age, and just looked miserable in general. It was then that I decided to start putting forbidden food in their meals. After a while of me doing so, they both gained some healthy weight and began playing like most kids their age. My aunt didn't notice anything, so I got bold and took my cousin to the optometrist to get his eyesight checked. Turns out he was negative 1.25 on both eyes. I bought him glasses and told him to wear them whenever my aunt wasn't around, and he thanked me later, saying he can finally see the chalkboard at school. Last week, we were playing at a park, and I gave my youngest cousin some mini Oreos to share with her friends on the playground. I later heard crying, only to see my aunt dragging the 5-year-old towards my direction. Apparently, she was walking by the park when she saw her eating the Oreos. Then she noticed the 12-year-old wearing glasses and absolutely lost it on me, berating me on how I could go behind her back and feed her children trash food and cripple them by making them wear unnecessary things, glasses. She confiscated the glasses and now moved temporarily to my other aunt's house while I'm grounded till further notice. My grandma's the only one supporting me on this issue, saying that my aunt borderline abused those kids by depriving them of food and medical assistance, and that I did the right thing by trying to put a stop to it. My friends are conflicted. Some say it's not my place to dictate how others raise their children, and some say they would have done the same. Am I the jerk? I think OP's definitely not the jerk. I think people are getting really mixed up about this. They're saying it's not OP's place to dictate how others raise their children, but this isn't some belief, this isn't some values thing. This is food and eyesight. These are human rights that this aunt is trying to deny these kids. Being in denial about your kid needing glasses and making them suffer because of it is not a non-dictatable raising their children type thing. Frankly, if it keeps going on, I would say try to get child services involved, because this is some serious neglect that honestly they should not have to deal with. This next story is by Amoeba386. Am I the jerk for expecting my husband's truck to be a shared resource? I, female 31, have been with my husband, male 31, for 10 years. We've lived together for most of that time and have a child and a dog together. This particular issue started a few months ago when he bought a new truck. The night before he had to pick it up, around a 1-hour drive, I asked him to take the dog out to go to the bathroom. He refused, saying the dog is mine and therefore my responsibility, not his. Technically, the dog is an emotional support animal for me, and when we got her, we agreed that I would do the majority of the care for her. This is held true, and this was the first time in over 2 weeks I had asked him to do any of the caretaking for her. I told him that if he couldn't do something as simple as take the dog out to go potty for me, I wouldn't be spending my day off driving him up to get his truck. The next morning, he asked me to drive him, and I told him no, reminding him of our argument the night before. He ended up Ubering there, which cost $100 plus. A few weeks ago, I asked for his help picking up a mattress as my vehicle is a small car. He refused unless I contribute $70 a month towards his truck payment. His reasoning was that A, since I'm benefiting from the truck, I should help pay for it, and B, I didn't drive him to pick up the truck, so he doesn't want to use it to help me. We had a pretty big fight about this, and I argued that as his wife, I should have access to his resources, obviously within reason, Without having to contribute to that specific resource financially, I eventually apologized for not taking him to pick up the truck, and he agreed that he would help me with things like this in the future. A few days later, he helped me deliver a desk I was selling about 5 minutes away. After the fact, he asked for half of the money I had earned from selling the desk. I refused because, again, I feel that his truck is a shared resource, and he's my husband, not a contracted delivery driver. He seemed annoyed by this but didn't push it. Today, I asked for his help picking up a pull-out couch for our guest room. He said no. When I asked him why, he said, "Because I don't like to help you." He then further explained, "You won't pay for part of the truck payment, and you don't give me some of the money from your desk, so I don't really want to use my truck to help you." I just said, "Okay," and walked away. I'm really confused and unsure here. I mean, obviously I feel like it's fair that he would use his truck to help me every once in a while, just like I use my resources to help him when I can. To me, that's part of being in a committed relationship with someone, and how our relationships operated up until this ongoing issue with the truck. But am I the jerk for not paying for part of the truck payment? For context, he planned to pay the whole payment himself until he, and I quote, realized I would benefit from it so much and that it seemed unfair to him. I'm gonna say both sides are jerks here. It just seems like neither one's wanting to actually, I don't know, do stuff for each other or be with each other, really? Is there a good side to this relationship? Do you have this fight about the truck usage and then turn around and cuddle up watching The Notebook at night? It just kind of sounds dysfunctional. Nobody wants to compromise with each other on anything, and you're married? This next story is by Mom Again AITA. Am I the jerk for not telling my husband that I'm pregnant before I told other people? My husband, 37-year-old male, and I, 38-year-old female, have been married for 6 years and have a 3-year-old son. For the past couple of years, we've been on the fence about trying for a second kid. With everything going on in the world and both of us approaching 40, we just weren't sure if we had it in us to have another one, and we knew that we both wanted to be 100% into it if we did. But we both grew up with siblings and wanted our son to have that experience as well. However, my husband got laid off about 4 months ago, and that was kind of the final nail in our decision making, and we decided that he would get a vasectomy. With the stress of the holidays after his layoff and the time-consuming job search, he procrastinated on scheduling an appointment. He finally got around to scheduling one about a month ago. Well, turns out that a couple weeks ago, I noticed I'd missed my last period. With everything else going on, I completely spaced it out. I took a pregnancy test and it came back positive. It was definitely a surprise, and at first I was overjoyed. But then I remembered that my husband had literally gotten the snip only a couple of weeks before. I made an appointment with my doctor, and sure enough, I was about 10 weeks along. I didn't know how to tell my husband or how he would take it considering everything else that we had going on. So I told my mom and talked to her about it. She didn't give the best advice. So I talked to 2 of my friends about it too. They gave better advice, and the next day I told my husband. He was happy and supportive and just kept saying that we would make it work and not to worry about anything other than our growing family. This past weekend, we had some friends over, including the friends I talked to about the pregnancy. After we had dinner, my 2 friends were talking with my husband, and I overheard one make a comment about how happy they both are that my husband took the news so well considering everything else we're going through. He played it off well, but I saw him shoot me a look. After everyone left, he confronted me about it and asked what my friend meant by that. I told him that I talked with them and my mom about how to tell them I was pregnant because I wasn't sure how he would take it. He got upset that he wasn't the first, second person to know this very personal and life-changing bit of information. I tried to explain that I was worried he wouldn't be as happy as he is because he literally got his vasectomy 2 weeks earlier and is still job searching. He told me that I should know him better than to think he wouldn't be happy and said he was offended that I would assume otherwise. I apologized and he seemed to accept it, but I could tell that he wasn't happy about it and that his feelings were hurt. I was just so confused and I needed to talk to someone. Was it a jerk move? I get having concerns over their reaction, but considering they're the father and you're married to them, I feel like they deserve to know first. Therefore, I think OP's the jerk. I just think it's a better policy to just be upfront and be frank and rip that band-aid off even if you're worried about it, rather than resort to talking to friends about very serious things like this before ever just addressing your partner. This next story is by ThrowRA5 Engagement. Am I the jerk for telling my son to leave my house after he announced his engagement? My son Adams, 24, best friend Carlos, 25, passed away over 2 years ago in a car accident. This loss completely devastated Adam to the point where he lost his job. They were like brothers, and our family have known his family for years, so we're also very devastated over this loss. Carlos left behind his girlfriend and their now 4-year-old son. We don't know his girlfriend too well since he didn't bring her around much. They were on and off till their son was born. Adam told me he's been seeing and taking care of Carlos's family's needs, which is great. We were glad to see he was stepping up and making sure that Carlos's family was getting help. Adam also got a new job, and we sort of had limited contact for a few months. He started visiting us lately and looked different in general. He's now more calm and smiles more often, and is even open to talk about Carlos without getting too emotional. I was relieved and happy for him, but last week, he contacted me and his dad and said he had something to tell us. He visited and brought Carlos's girlfriend and child with him. We had dinner, and then he all of a sudden told us that he and Carlos's girlfriend have started dating and announced their engagement there. I was in shock. I didn't expect this at all. I didn't know what to say, but I felt upset and shocked mostly. Adam noticed my reaction and asked what's wrong. I told him I never expected him to get with his best friend's partner, of all people, and talked about how bad this would look to Carlos's family, who are close friends to ours. Carlos's girlfriend excused herself and her son to the bathroom, and Adam began arguing. He went on about how I upset his fiancée and that I should be supporting him, but I said that he should have told me, and that he shouldn't have got together with his best friend's partner and perhaps used her grief to get her to date him. He acted shocked and called me unbelievable. That's when I asked him to leave my house. He got up and left with them. My husband said I messed up by making a scene and reacting the way I did. I went upstairs and stayed alone for an hour. It's been days and Adam hasn't called, and my husband keeps trying to get me to speak to him, but I kept saying I needed time. I'm going to say that OP is the jerk just cause yeah, it would be a weird thing for them to move on together and get together, but it's been 2 years. Surely that's enough time for them to move on, right? I don't know, I think it's acceptable over that sheer amount of time. Especially with them supporting each other and being close to each other. It's not crazy that intimacy happened. And again, it's been 2 years. Our next story is by Less Seaworthiness 36. Am I the jerk for telling my brother having a child-free wedding is BS and the only reason anyone showed up to his engagement was to make fun of him behind his back? So I, 25-year-old female, have 5 siblings. My oldest brother, 36-year-old male who I used to idolize. He recently got engaged, in my opinion rather quickly after his divorce, 6 months. Tonight was his engagement dinner. I'm gonna be honest as freak here, I hate his soon-to-be wife Amanda. She's a two-faced fake witch that's obsessed with my brother's ex-wife. I went tonight because I loved my brother, and with all our family's comments about putting them in their place, I was gonna try to keep it civil for my niece's sake. Well, shockingly, it was going well because my brother kept our grandmother and siblings away from Amanda by sitting me and dad next to her. I tried to be nice. I used all my years in retail to help me channel my best polite, positive attitude, even though I wanted to tell this woman to go freak herself. We got talking about their wedding, which is in July. It started off civil enough, till it got to the part my mom would ask about my nieces, 4, 5, 8, being flower girls. They looked at each other, then my POS brother answered and said, "Well, actually we thought of having a late wedding, so we decided it would be best if it was child-free." Me in shock and a little drunk said, "How can you have a child-free wedding when you have kids?" Amanda said, "Well, they won't be coming because it wouldn't be fair to my friends or you guys." I said, "Which? I wasn't asking you, I'm talking to my brother, their father." Brother said, "OP, please don't call Amanda out of her name and calm down." We both agreed it would be inappropriate because the ceremony starts at 7 and we plan on partying into the night. Please, as my family, respect and support my decisions. If you can't respect my relationship or my future wife, I'll ask you to not attend the wedding nor speak to me till you're ready to apologize. I say, having a child-free wedding is completely BS, And guess what? Either people came here to make fun of you or for your kid's sake. You know what? Screw you, screw your wedding, and your future wife. My grandmother then said, "They always downgrade, don't they?" He was running around with poop in his sack when he had a good woman at home. We all started laughing, then my brother and Amanda started yelling, so everyone got into it and then we got kicked out of the restaurant. Now that I'm sobering up, I think I'm a jerk. Do you think these parents going and excluding their kids from being at their wedding makes them total jerks? I'd like to know what you guys think down in the comments. Our next story is by No Wine in Meeting. Am I the jerk for saying wine doesn't belong at work lunches? Hey y'all, I just took a management job on the West Coast. I was excited to meet some of the work-from-home coworkers at a lunch meeting. I wasn't given much of a particulars, but I was kinda shocked when the employees ordered wine at a meeting. I knocked that down, but one person spoke up, saying the company normally allows them a 2-drink maximum at work functions like this if there's a meeting in a restaurant. Most order wine or beer at their lunch and got kinda huffy when I said no drinking at work lunches, and I made them pay for the drinks they did order. I was like, I don't feel comfortable with that. I brought it up about discipline for HR because I thought that was drinking on the job, and the whole thing wasn't cool with me drinking at noon. The company said it was standard, and a few managers back established this with HR on the 2 drinks of wine or beer, saying that they would reimburse the employees for the misunderstanding. I was kinda in shock about the policy, and I've been hired to cut costs, and this is one. HR said that's okay, but they still have to reimburse for those drinks. I also said I actually don't feel like drinking at staff meetings was a good idea, and I wanted it stopped. The HR woman got short with me and said, "Okay, Miss Scarlett O'Hara, is there anything else you'd like to suck the fun out of? Because everyone's hiring in this town." I was offended that someone in HR would even be so rude to actually say that to my face. I told my boss, and he simply said I had culture shock and things are more liberal here. I'm regretting my move, and I just simply don't think people should drink on work-sponsored lunches. I didn't expect to be made to feel how I did, especially with HR treating me like I'm some kind of monster or weirdo. I'm gonna say OP is the jerk, and it's just because they're coming into this company. The company says, yeah, this is what we endorse, this is what we do, it's how we operate. And OP's coming in as the lone person like, yeah, I don't think this is okay. And everybody else, literally even HR, is saying, yeah, no, this is fine, this is what we do. This next story is by Dream Crusher 100. Am I the jerk for telling my brother that he's just an experiment? I, 22-year-old female, and my brother, 20-year-old male, are attending different colleges, but they're both in the same city. I'm classmates with this guy, 22-year-old male, let's call him David. He's really handsome, fit, and smart, but also quite the player. Most of my female friends have had one-night stands with him, and there's rumors going around about him sleeping with half the college, including some of the teachers. So imagine my surprise when I find out that my brother started dating him. Yeah, he hasn't kept it a secret that he's bi and that he experimented with guys before, but I seriously didn't expect that my brother of all people to be his type. I seriously thought they were gonna break up pretty fast, as David doesn't seem like the type to settle down easily, but surprisingly, him and my brother are still together after over half a year. And my brother's become really annoying during this period. Pretty much all he's doing now is gushing about David and acting like he's the best thing since sliced bread. Not to mention how he's following him like a puppy whenever they go to an event together. Yesterday was my brother's birthday, and he once again kept praising David, this time about his cooking skills. Apparently he made him a special dinner and birthday cake, which I said that seemed cheap and it was kinda worrying that his own boyfriend doesn't want to spend money on him. My brother intervened and said that he never really liked the material gifts for his birthday, and he's so glad that David picked up on that and was willing to put so much effort to make his birthday truly special, which really made him hopeful about their future together. I, however, wasn't impressed and told my brother that he should hold his horses and that David isn't the type to settle down and he's probably just an experiment to him. My brother asked me what the heck I was talking about, and I told him about how he used to sleep with pretty much everyone in college before they started dating, and that there's even rumors about him sleeping with teachers just to keep his grades high. And considering that his grades haven't lowered since they started dating, I would be on guard around him if I was in his place. My brother went silent and pretty much stopped talking with me for the rest of the day. But at night, I got a message from David telling me to stop spreading fake rumors about him and to stop trying to sabotage his relationship with my brother. However, I don't really think I was doing any of that. All I did was just warn my brother about the possibility of getting misled by David down the line. But David doesn't see things that way and thinks I'm actively trying to sabotage them. So, am I the jerk for expressing my concerns to my brother? If you genuinely knew something about this guy as far as like what they're doing, I don't think it's bad to, mention it. But with how involved OP is in their love life and who David is hooking up with and whatever David's doing in these rumors and whatnot, it's a bit much. And I would say it's just in jerk territory. Like the amount of stuff OP has like witnessed or is watching for and apparently knows about David is just too much. Our next story is by a bunch of letters. Am I the jerk? I told my wife that she can't be a stay-at-home mom. I and my wife worked as software engineers when we got married. She took a maternity leave when she was around 36 weeks pregnant. This was an unplanned pregnancy as we both had been using contraception. Our baby is 1 year old now. My wife had her maternity leave until about 2 months ago. I'd asked her to start looking for jobs, but she said she wants to just stay home with our daughter because she doesn't want to leave her at home and go to work. I was a bit surprised because she doesn't like doing housework much, so I asked her if she was sure she could handle 60% housework and childcare every day. She said she can. I was a bit skeptical, so I told her, let's try it for a month, and if she isn't able to cope, she'll be going back to work. The first week, she handled it pretty well, then started saying she wasn't able to handle everything at home alone. So I started helping her out extra with the laundry or dishes before going to work, but she still wasn't able to cope. So I told her today that she has to go back to work since she's not able to do the housework and childcare alone. She got mad at me and started saying that I'm basing her worth on her ability to do housework and childcare and that I'm being sexist. Am I the jerk? I feel like there needs to be a little bit more information here. I feel like there needs to be some kind of agreement as to what duties need to be fulfilled. And I feel like for people to really judge this, they have to understand what all is expected. I'm gonna go ahead and lean towards not the jerk. And our final story of the day is by Not My Sis. Am I the jerk for ignoring my half-sister for transferring into my school? So I, 18-year-old female, was pretty much abandoned by my mom when I was a baby. She moved on with a new guy and had 2 kids, Tia, 15-year-old female, and Ed, 13-year-old male. We all have the same last name because mom didn't marry my dad or their dad. When I was 7, they moved away and my mom never called or anything. She just phoned on my birthday if she remembered it and sent birthday cards with a cash and a picture of her and her family. I saw my grandma till last year when she passed because my dad didn't want me to lose a link to my mom. After grandma died, my mom got her house and they moved back and their kids got admitted into the same school I go to. Okay, well, we're all in different grades so it shouldn't be an issue. I can just avoid them. Well, apparently Tia was really good at basketball. So somehow she gets on the seniors team, even though it's usually only grade 12s and 11s. Tia and Ed have reached out to me, but I quickly stopped acknowledging them at all beyond passing to her during a game because I don't want to be their sister. They have their perfect family. I don't want any of it anymore. Like, it sucks so much to see my mom come to our games, drop her off, and cheer her on when I never got any of that. Honestly, I dip from games right away if I see her in the stands, because I don't want to talk to her. Things kind of came to a head this week because they were taking photos for the yearbook for the basketball team and they were taking them in alphabetical order based on last name. I don't want to even show up next to her in the yearbook. So when they lined us up, I told the PE teacher I was getting my surname changed to my dad's last name and got my place switched. Tia got really upset with me and after the photos tried arguing with me and I just got mad and told her to go complain to her mom. And she just called me a jerk for never wanting to be her sister. My friends are split with some saying I should give her a chance at least to avoid making things awkward at school. And my dad tells me I should reach out to my mom, but my cousins are all on my side and told me I did the right thing. And so school is kind of tense so far today because of it. I don't really know, so I'm coming here to find out if I'm the jerk. So personally, I think OP is not the jerk because I feel like their feelings are really valid here. their mother basically abandoned them. And to see these kids who were basically like flaunted to OP as their mom's new family, it's like, how can OP really feel like open to the idea of embracing them? Whether OP gives them a chance or not, I think their feelings are extremely valid. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So of all these stories I've read today, which is your favorite and why? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't yet, if you could like and subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. Whatever you do, whether it's liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, all of it helps grow this channel and I appreciate the heck out of it. So until next time, I'll see you all tomorrow with some more stories.